So which grip should you use when you're playing golf? This is a question I get asked a lot, particularly for people who haven't played golf for very long. It's really important to get the grip right because it's the only point that you're actually attached to the golf club, and there's a lot of feel involved and it needs to feel comfortable. Now there's two grips in golf. There's one for putting and there's one for the rest of the game. Now I have done a separate tip on putting, so I'll put a link to that. But in terms of your normal swing, which will cover everything from chipping right up all the way to your driver, there's three different grips that you can use. Traditionally that has been the case. The baseball grip, and the overlapping grip or the Varden grip, and the interlocking grip. Now the baseball grip is generally more suited to a beginner golfer because you've got all fingers on the grip and it gives you a little bit more feel, gives you a bit better hold, makes it feel a bit more secure to start you off with. However, what it does is it lengthens your grip, so from the top to the bottom is a lot longer. And the whole idea when you're gripping the club is to have your hands working together as one unit. So when you've got a 10-finger grip, it tends to elongate the length of your grip and it gets the bottom hand overworking, can make the bottom hand a little bit dominant. That's why you won't see a golf pro using a 10-finger grip. So generally if you do start off with the 10-finger, you might want to migrate up to one of the other two, which is the overlapping or the interlocking. Now the overlapping is also called the Varden and was traditionally used by far the most over the years, and it was invented by Harry Varden, who was a fantastic golfer back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. He won 6 Open Championships. So he coined this grip, but apparently he actually copied it off of a very good Scottish champion amateur golfer, and I can't remember his name, but I'll put it up on the screen for you. And the idea for him was to actually bring the hands a little bit closer together so that they're working together as one unit. And that's the idea of the grip. You want the hands working closely together. So the first of the two main grips that I think you should choose from is the overlapping or the Varden. So you're going to take the bottom hand, bring it up a lot closer to the top hand and actually let that little finger sit in between the first and second fingers of the left hand, like that, if you're right-handed. So if you're right-handed, your left hand is at the top, the bottom hand will come up and sit in between the ridges of the first and second. So looking down in front of you, it just looks like so. So that's your Varden grip, and that's the grip I use, and that's the grip probably 40 or 50% of golfers use now. It used to be 100%, but it's changed. And the reason it's changed is because both Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods in recent times, both reasonably good golfers, in recent times they have changed to what we're calling the interlocking grip, where you actually take those two fingers and interlock them. So we're going from here to the actual interlocking grip. Now this grip here tends to suit people with smaller fingers, weaker hands. Ladies are generally a little bit better off using this one. The only proviso I would say with this grip is you just got to be a bit careful that you don't grip too tightly with it, because it gives you a really nice, secure, tight hold. You want to be careful you don't over grip the club and make it too tight. Essentially though, the way you would choose which of those two grips to use would be comfort and preference, really. So have a play around with what you like the feel of. Chances are if your pro has given you the Varden grip to start off with, that's what you'll be comfortable with and that's what you'll want to use. And by the same token, if you've started off with the interlocking, depending what your pros taught you probably, then that's going to feel more comfortable to you and that'll be what you want to go ahead and use. There's really not a lot of difference between the two. Essentially, again, the idea is that we have our hands working together closely as one unit, and that's the whole idea of the correct grip. So that's your choices, the baseball grip or the 10-finger if you're a newish golfer and you want to really be able to get a good hold on the club to start off with. The club feels quite heavy when you're a beginner, particularly the ladies. They'll find that the weight of the club can be quite a bit to start you off until your golfing muscles build up. And then the overlapping or the traditional Varden grip, which again, if you like the feel of that, then that's an absolutely great grip to use, or the interlocking. So those are your three choices. All right, so hopefully that's helped you to decide which grip's right for you. Play around with it, practice different grips, but essentially the second and the third grip are the two that you should choose from. So whip, whip. So whip, whip. I keep saying so whip. This is going to be a long morning, Benj. And the okay.
Did you see that shot?
That's good, babe.